Hello and welcome to the Tavern Chat podcast. I am Eric Tenkar, and today we are going to open up the first edition DMG. And last time I talked, I was about the 1E DMG. I was talking about how some of Gary's thoughts seem to be marketing thoughts, right? Make the DMG verboten for players. It means every player's going to want one. Aids to playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Now, this is from page 11, if you want to follow along at home. Various products, such as modules, playing aids, and miniature figurines, will be most helpful in establishing and maintaining an interesting, exciting campaign. There are so many such products available that it is not possible to detail each here, but some guidance can be given. Popular products range from record sheets for characters and special screens for the DM, which contain frequently consulted charts and tables on his or her side to complete dungeon or world scenarios. TSR provides a broad selection of some goods, some of which are listed in the back of this work. Okay. Judges Guild produces a large and continually expanding line of materials, and you should contact them for their current catalog. While there are many other works which appear to be useful in a campaign, only those bearing the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And by the way, I just noticed this. Dungeons was misspelled in my copy. Duneons. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons logo. An approval mark should be used. See? Marketing. Miniature figures are used to represent characters and monsters, add color and life to the game. They also make the task of refereeing action and particularly combat easier too. In combination with a gridded surface, such as dungeon floor plans to be published by TSR in the near future, these miniatures will add a whole new dimension to your playing enjoyment. It is suggested that you urge your players to provide painted figures representing their characters, henchmen, and hirelings involved in play. So, again, you can see where this is going, right? The monsters can be furnished by you, possibly purchased through collection of small fees levied on each playing session. The official Advanced Dungeons and Dragons miniature figures will be released by Grenadier Models around November 1979. These figures are the only ones which comply in all respects to AD&D specifications and the AD&D Monster Manual. Other approved lines of fantasy figures approved for use with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons will be offered by select manufacturers. Always look for the name Advanced Dungeons and Dragons and the TSR approval mark before purchasing figures for your campaign. Now, isn't that interesting? Again, a word of warning. Many products might purport to be satisfactory for use with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, but only those noted as official or authorized AD&D items should be accepted. Do not sell for substitutes or second-rate material in your campaign. Ask for approved AD&D products only. Now, why this stress? Why this stress on only approved AD&D? Well, that's because people, imagine if you could self-publish like you can now, but there was a realization that role-playing games were a hot commodity. And TSR was making some money from licensing to Judges Guild and some money by licensing miniature rights to Grenadier. And if these companies did well with the licensing, TSR would obviously do better. And besides which, as far as TSR was concerned, we should only be playing with their approved products. Again, it was, and to some extent still is, purely about marketing. To be a major publisher, you've got to be in it for the profit. You're not just in it for the love of the game. I'm in it for the love of the game, but I am not a major publisher. I don't make my living off this. If you are going to make a living off this hobby, if you are going to pay salaries, you have to treat it like a business. And right from the start, right in this DMG, the Dungeon Master's Guide, Gary is telling you, I am treating this like a business. It might be a game for you, but for me, it's a business. For me, the commodity is the game. For you, the game is a hobby. For you, the game is escapism. For Gary and TSR, that game was their moneymaker. And if you bought products from some third party that was self-publishing out of a garage in San Francisco or Chicago or wherever, they weren't getting a cut. To some extent, today, with the open game license, right? Publishers like Wizards of the Coast put out the rules, and then third parties get to play with those rules without kicking money back to Wizards of the Coast, right? Or Paizo, or Frog God Games, for Pathfinder, Pathfinder 2, for Swords and Wizardry. These are all systems that are under the open game license. The idea, though, is that by farming out third-party support, by farming out, especially in the case of Wizards of the Coast, and to some lesser extent Paizo, farming out the adventures, the modules required or requested by the community, supports their main line, allows them to sell more core books, or it allows them to sell more official products. But you don't hear people going, oh, I won't buy that because it's not for use with or approved for. And I fell under that spell. I fell under it. I remember going to the Complete Strategist in Manhattan and seeing all this Judges Guild stuff, at that point not approved with for use with D&D, a lot of it. And I was like, I can't buy it, right? Mayfair was approved for the longest time. Well, wasn't really approved, was it? Mayfair wasn't approved, but Mayfair had their disclaimer on the cover. But it kind of made it semi-approved, right, by having that disclaimer. But it was all because TSR wanted their share. These days, it flips. And it's like, well, if we allow third parties to put up material in support of our system, more people want to buy our system. Interesting how that works, right? Interesting how the market has changed. I don't know. I think that it's certainly allowed the market to grow, but it also allowed it to diversify, which is both a strength and a weakness, I guess, if you want to find people playing with the same rules as you are, because let's be honest, Gary's big thing about AD&D was the ability to go from campaign to campaign, group to group, convention to convention, and be playing under the same rules. And now you can go to a gaming convention like North Texas RPG Con and find people playing Pathfinder, Pathfinder 2, 5e, AD&D 1e, original D&D, basic D&D, Labyrinth Lord, DCC RPG, Swords and Wizardry, Astonishing Swordsman and Sorceress for Hyperburnia. All these, I'm sure I missed a few, all these games that are under the OGL, right? But you can't go from a DCC RPG game and bring a character and have the same expectations in a BX game. But at the same time, you support so many different styles of play. I personally think the diversification of rules and systems is the strength. But I suspect Gary would have disagreed with that. Folks, we are in the midst of the world of the pandemic. It is currently on the upswing. And, the vaccines are slowly rolling their way out. I am not a medical professional. I'm going to ask that you use your common sense to keep yourself, your loved ones, your family, your friends healthy and safe. If you need further advice than that, please seek professional medical advice from someone you trust. Be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice. Wednesday night. Wednesday night tonight when I'm recording this is going to be dun 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 Talking Crit with Bad Mike and myself. And we will have more OSR Christmas giveaways. Feast of the Nativity, correct? Three Kings Day. And Friday night, which I guess would have to be the 8th, Joe the Lawyer and myself will be hosting Iron Rations, where we talk about all things Dungeons and Dragons related. And I believe we'll have some more Christmas giveaways. I won't be wrapping up OSR Christmas until this weekend at the earliest. So go to tenkarstavern.com, go to youtube.com/Eric Tenkar, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and get yourself eligible to be gifted. That's what the whole season is about, right, folks? Goodwill toward men and all that crap. Be safe, be well. God bless, roll those dice. And God willing, and knock on wood, I will talk with you alls tomorrow. Laters.